Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're looking at a completely pivotal day in July 2026, where the tech landscape is basically shifting overnight and breaking down some really long-standing barriers. I am so thrilled to walk you through today's curated sources, because we are looking at a morning of massive, totally unexpected consumer empowerment. Whether it's software limits lifting, digital rights getting stronger, or canceled hardware projects secretly giving birth to foundational AI tech, today's developments are absolutely going to directly impact how you interact with your digital world.
Okay, we've got 6 big shifts to cover today. We're talking Windows and Android uniting, unlimited AI with GPT-5.6 Sol, a major win for digital rights, a cool retro gaming revival, a crazy 200 grand Bitcoin lottery, and finally how the Apple Car's failure sparked an AI legacy. Let's get right into it.
So, Section 1, Windows and Android Unite. This is the start of the deep integration era.
Remember back in March of 2025 when Microsoft completely killed off the Windows subsystem for Android? It was just eating way too much RAM and, let's be honest, it didn't run well at all. Well, they didn't give up. This brand new integration is built on 3 main pillars. First, using cloud streaming to run those heavy apps on Azure servers. Second, syncing your phone and PC in real time so your notifications, your clipboard, and even your calls just perfectly align. And third, continuity. This literally lets you start a task on your phone and just pick it right up on your laptop without skipping a single beat.
Let's quickly break down that first step, because honestly, it's a real game changer. Instead of actually downloading an app and making your computer's hardware do all the heavy lifting, the app runs on Microsoft servers and just streams right to you. Think of it exactly like streaming a Netflix movie. So, what does that mean for us? It means even a clunky, older laptop can run the heaviest mobile apps buttery smooth, just with one click right from the Microsoft Store.
And here's exactly why this matters so much for the massive $116.4 billion mobile gaming industry. Look, right now, mobile gaming is bigger than console and PC gaming combined. We're talking 3.7 billion active players. And because of this new cloud streaming from Microsoft, gamers can use cross-save to take massive titles like Genshin Impact or Call of Duty Mobile directly from their morning commute straight to a 27-inch monitor. You get full mouse and keyboard support, and you don't lose a single ounce of visual fidelity. It's absolutely huge.
All right, moving on to Section 2, Unlimited AI. GPT 5.6 Sol limits are finally lifted.
You know, when GPT 5.6 Sol dropped in late June, its ability to tackle complex multi-step reasoning, advanced programming, and literally Olympic-level math was so good that demand just exploded. OpenAI actually had to cap usage at 5 hours a day. But take a look at how Sol stacks up in the intense AI wars against Gemini 3.5 Flash and Claude Fable 5. Both Gemini and Claude are bringing massive 1 million token context windows to the table. Now, Sol, it only has 200,000, which, don't get me wrong, is still vastly superior to the 8,000 tokens we had with standard GPT-4. But OpenAI knew they had to drop those time restrictions completely, or else their frustrated Plus and Pro users were definitely going to jump ship to the competition.
But here's the thing. Sol isn't just fast. It uses what's called chain-of-thought reasoning. And this is a massive leap from standard GPT-4. It essentially lets the model transparently show you its work on really complex data analysis before it spits out the final answer. So if you're debugging code, you can literally watch the AI's logic step by step and see exactly where it might be making a mistake before it outputs the final result. It's pretty much like having the AI show its math homework.
Next up, Section 3, a victory for digital rights. We've got a really historic court ruling to talk about here.
So this wild case centers around a Brazilian gamer named Carlos Silva. The guy buys over 150 digital games over the years, right? Then his Xbox account gets hacked. Passwords change, the whole shebang. When he reaches out for help, Microsoft support sends him this unbelievably dismissive response. Unfortunately, we cannot restore your account. We suggest you repurchase your games. I mean, can you even imagine getting that email? Well, Carlos wasn't having it. He sued them, arguing that Microsoft actually has a responsibility to protect user accounts. And guess what? He won. A Brazilian court ordered a full $3,000 refund for his library, plus another $400 in moral damages for the pure stress of losing years of gaming memories.
And this ruling matters so much because it hits right at the core of a huge question. Do you actually own your digital games? Normally, the industry stance is that you're just buying a temporary license, and the fine print usually says they can revoke your access whenever they feel like it. But this court just set a massive precedent. They basically said, no, digital purchases demand the exact same legal consumer protections as physical ones. If you're dropping $70 on a digital game, the court says you expect to have it forever, just like a physical disc sitting right there on your shelf.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Section 4, the Retro Gaming Revival. We are looking at the Super Yanoman Collection. So, the publisher Izidia is pulling the Japanese hit Super Yanoman Collection straight out of the 90s and bringing it to all modern platforms this fall. Now, if you didn't know, this series was incredibly popular in Japan during the Famicom era. It's this awesome blend of puzzle, action, and adventure, but it never really got an official global release. And guys, this is not just a quick, lazy port. It's a meticulously crafted anthology. We're talking 8 full titles packed with handcrafted pixel art remasters, modern quality-of-life stuff like save states and rewind functionality, and even speedrun timers. It really just proves that classic Famicom games can still grab a global audience today, especially with it launching on PS5, PS4, Switch, and PC, fully supported in 12 different languages.
But the real takeaway here is this absolutely staggering number. A $12 billion valuation for the retro and remaster gaming market in 2026. That is a 23% jump from just last year alone. It clearly shows that gamers are more than happy to open their wallets for pure nostalgia as long as it's wrapped in modern convenience. Whether it's Nintendo's Virtual Console drops or indie darlings like Shovel Knight, old school isn't just cool again, it is incredibly profitable.
Moving on to Section 5, the $200,000 Bitcoin Lottery. How a home miner actually hit the jackpot.
We all know the crypto mining world is just completely industrialized these days, right? Well, one home hobbyist just totally turned back the clock. In a landscape completely dominated by these massive industrial mining farms pushing out like 650 exahash of network power, a guy using a tiny open-source 15-watt device called a BitAxe miraculously managed to mine a Bitcoin block worth around $200,000. Look at this crazy comparison. You've got a $150 device, literally smaller than your Wi-Fi modem, churning out a measly 1.2 terahash, going up against industrial machines that pump out 200 terahash and cost tens of thousands of dollars.
To really put this crazy stroke of luck into perspective, the odds of this tiny little 15-watt device beating out those industrial titans to win that 3.1 Bitcoin reward, it was roughly 1 in 18,000 years. So yeah, to be clear, it is financially completely illogical to go out and buy one of these thinking you're going to get a big payout. The electricity costs alone are going to wipe out any regular earnings you make. But as a fun educational device that acts as a virtually impossible lottery ticket, this single event is just absolutely historic.
And finally, Section 6, Apple Car's AI Legacy, the unexpected birth of the neural engine.
Let's take a quick trip back to 2014. Apple started Project Titan, a massive $10 billion aim at building a fully autonomous car. Now, self-driving requires some insanely powerful, real-time machine vision processing, and back then, the hardware for that just didn't exist. So what did Apple do? They built it themselves. To solve the car's need for real-time processing, they created a dedicated chip called the Neural Engine in 2017. It started out pushing 600 billion operations per second on the A11 chip, but look at this timeline leading up to 2026. They've scaled that tech up massively, performing over 35 trillion operations per second on the M7 Ultra. And remember, this isn't some standard graphics GPU, it is hyper-specialized just for machine learning tasks, all while keeping power drain super low.
So, as we know, Apple ultimately pivoted away from building cars in early 2024 because of the crazy high costs and brutal competition. But they didn't just throw the tech away. They strategically took this powerhouse hardware and redirected it to completely enable Apple Intelligence. This is exactly what allows your iPhone and your Mac to run those complex AI tasks natively right there on the device. Everything from smart writing tools to natural language Siri processing, it all happens locally. It's wild proof that a massive $10 billion failure directly bred the foundational tech that now runs their entire current product line.
All right, so as we wrap up today's explainer, let's just quickly look at the key takeaways. Whether it's those annoying AI software limits finally lifting due to competition, our digital ownership rights getting way stronger in the courts, or canceled car projects secretly giving birth to foundational AI tech, we are really living in an era of massive, unexpected consumer empowerment.
It's a landscape where previously closed-off walls like the ones between Windows and Android are suddenly crumbling, turning into open avenues for seamless gaming and productivity.
Which leaves us with this one massive thought to close on today. As the barriers between our devices, our legal rights, and these giant tech ecosystems continue to fall, what current failed piece of tech might unexpectedly become the engine of your daily life in just a few years? Keep a close eye on those discontinued projects, folks, because as we've seen today, they might just be the exact blueprint for our future. Thanks so much for joining me, and keep exploring.